Why did France's conquest of Brittany take so long? At the present time, Brittany is considered to be an integral part of France. On the other hand, it had been independent for approximately 600 years before to its formal incorporation into it in the year 1547. But how was it that Brittany was able to maintain its resistance for such a long period of time, considering that its neighbor was far larger, significantly more powerful, and shared its only land border? What was the reason that France did not seize Brittany centuries earlier? To get things started, by the middle of the 9th century, Brittany had been subdivided into a number of smaller states. The neighboring Frankish kingdom came to the conclusion that it would be difficult to subdue the Britons in that region. Due to the fact that Vikings appeared some decades later, this arrangement did not continue for very long. As a result of the raids that occurred along the coast of the Frankish Empire, the focus of the Frankish Empire was required elsewhere, and Brittany was free to rebel. It wasn't until the middle of the 9th century that Brittany, like many other tiny states, was able to put up a fight against Norsemen and find itself under their control. During this time period, King Ephraim provided assistance to Alan, who was the grandson of the last independent Breton royal family. His authority over the nation was the first of its kind. As a result of his accomplishment, he was elevated to the position of duke, and Brittany gained her independence. A century after this, Brittany was a chaos of rebellions, and France never attacked the region despite the fact that it was weak and in a state of disarray. And the reason for this was that the French aristocrats whose domains bordered Brittany intermarried with the rebels and lords of Brittany, which made it difficult to intervene in the situation. It should come as no surprise that it wasn't long before the rulers of Brittany began to interact with the kings of France, who were highly interested in maintaining the duchy's position of authority. Both royal houses competed with one another for the friendship of the duchy during this time period. Their adversaries at the time were, of course, the monarchs of England. In addition, France was the only significant state that had a stake in Brittany after England's defeat in the 100 Years' War. Then why is that? In the first place, France was in a state of complete and utter exhaustion, and as a result, it was not a good idea to embark on an expedition that would not only cost money but would also leave it vulnerable to an assault from Spain or the Holy Roman Empire. And at this stage, there was always a plan B available in the event that you were unable to conquer a land. Attend the moment when the ruler will only have a daughter and then marry her. This is exactly what occurred in the year 1498, when Duke Francis II passed away, leaving the duchy under the power of only his daughter and himself. In order to save the duchy from France, it was decided that Anne would wed Maximilian von Habsburg, who was the heir to the Holy Roman Empire. It was done remotely because it was impossible to carry out the task in person due to the dangers associated with travel. As a result, we took the initiative to request that it be cancelled in a courteous manner. When I say that, I mean that he invaded. In the aftermath of his victory over the Bretons, Charles coerced Anne into marrying him, then dispatched her to Paris while he assigned his own nobility to the administration of Brittany. This conflict lasted for around 5 minutes. This time they did have children, and the eldest Claude was married to the next king of France, Francis I, whose son Henry would go in to inherit both the Duchy of Brittany and the Kingdom of France, at which point the title of Duke of Brittany was abolished, and the lands thereafter were simply ruled by the King of France. Consequently, Brittany's 600-year streak of independence was brought to an end, contrary to Francis's aspirations. Thank you for following this video. I invite you to subscribe to this channel to keep up to date with the next super interesting videos that will be released. Leave a like and a comment below, also with requests on what topics you would like me to talk about. See you in the next video.